What's up guys, this is Miasin. So this is not going to be an OCG metagame breakdown, but I'm rather just going to be reviewing a bunch of the OCG deck lists because they have been up to something very interesting. And obviously they have the crossover breaker set, the one with the Ryzeal and Malice, Apodracosis, whatever. Not a single person in the world is playing that engine, but you get what I'm saying. Anyways, we already know the drill. Before this video starts, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button, and let's get right into it. So again, it doesn't really matter if I analyze this because I really just want to go over the deck list, but obviously Ryzeal is still the best deck. Not by a super significant margin, almost tied with Snake Eye Azamina, and then we still have Tenpai Dragon, obviously, because they have Molchimi Floraros and Dominus Impulse in Rage of the Abyss, which we are gonna be getting in a few weeks. So yeah, Doom is gonna be upon us. I will be making a video about pretty much everything that is coming out in that set very soon. And then yeah, Yubel is not really great anymore, even though it's kind of like at full power in terms of power level. This deck absolutely does not handle Molchimi Floraros like at all. And then yeah, Ritual Beast, which also loses to like all the Molchimi cards, so it's not like super insane, but it's a shifter deck. Runick, that's a really scary deck, and I will of course be showing you guys some of the decks that they're playing. And then yeah, whatever, the rest doesn't really matter. Okay, so it was won by Ryzeal, obviously. I'm not even surprised, but Fiendsmith Yubel was able to do pretty well. So this deck list, and I want to say pretty much every single Ryzeal deck list that you're gonna see until the end of this like universe existence is gonna be always the same thing. The same exact 10 Ryzeal monsters. So 3 Ice, 3 X, and 3 Sword with 1 node. Yes, I think I managed to get all their names right, even though I don't really care. I know their names are going to change once we're going to be getting them in the TCG. But yeah, X special summons a monster from the deck, and you have to normal summon it, but it can also special summon itself by sending a card from your hand or field to the graveyard, which is one of the reasons why people were experimenting with a toy engine. It's not super, I mean, it's not garbage, but I don't really think it's needed. And also it means that you're playing less non-engine in your deck, but it's still a decent engine at spamming some rank 4s, which is exactly what you're trying to be doing in this deck anyways. Now, X Ryzeal is probably the best card in the deck. It summons itself from the hand for free by pitching an Xyz monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. So this is your best friend at breaking boards going second because you're sending Aggregator and you're also negating a card in the process. So even under skill drain, this deck still has some resources. And also on summon, it gets to search, I believe, for a level 4 Fire Pyro from your deck to your hand. This one, it summons any monster or maybe like another Fire Pyro. And then this one, the sword, is the Fire Pyro. This one can search a Light Thunder, I think level 4. And it can also special summon itself pretty much for free from the hand. And then the node is a Monster Reborn, so it's not like it does anything to get your engine started. So that's the reason why it's just a 1-of. So you got 9 cards already that are 1-card starters that do like double rank 4s, and they get to search a bunch of cards. And then you still have a bunch of ways to search your starters. So you have a Bonfire, which can search your sword or your node. And then you have your 7 Tachyon, which can search anything here, granted that you play the bricks in your extra deck. I mean, not really bricks, but you get what I'm saying. So if you play the Star Seraph monster, you can search your sword, the Ice or the X. And if you play the other one, the Battling Box or something, I forgot the exact one, you can search for these two, but I would still kind of play the other one just in case. And then everything else is kind of like obvious. This deck plays so much non-engine, it's not even funny. This really gives me some Math Mech vibes. So we're seeing 4, 7, 10, 12, 15 hand traps, and we're not even close to being done yet because we have double Droplet, double Caught By, and Crossout, so that's 5 extra non-engines. So in theory, this could have been 20 hand traps in a 41 card deck, by the way. And then we're seeing 2 Desires, which can also be substituted with either like other consistency cards or even more hand traps if you really don't give a shit. Or you can also play more Board Breakers, that would also work out fine. But in the TCG, I don't think 3 Crossout would be the play, and also Caught By the Grave is just at 1. So maybe we're not going to be seeing these 2 cards, and maybe we're going to be seeing like main deck Book of Eclipse or something like that. On the bright side, this deck cannot play any of the Dominus cards, so I guess that's not too bad. But it's one of the best decks at not only abusing both of the Molchimi cards because they're level 4, so worst case you can just normal summon them, that's kind of nice, and then make a rank 4 of them. Or you could, put them back on the bottom of the deck with a 7 Tachyon, or rather on the top of the deck, but you're going to be shuffling your deck when you're going to be searching anyway, so it doesn't matter. I really think that the existence of the new Molchimi cards is gonna make Maxi disappear from even the OCG, but maybe there's a world in which it still exists. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't think we're done seeing Molchimi cards yet. I think we're still gonna be getting an Earth and a Fire Molchimi cards. So my predictions is that the Earth Molchimi is going to be the next one, and it's gonna draw you one card every single time your opponent summons a monster from their graveyard or banished. The last one is gonna be the Fire Molchemy, and my prediction on its effect is gonna be something that I don't think anyone can guess. I think it's gonna be the very first hand trap in the game that draws you one card every single time your opponent sets a card. So now, your opponent gets punished for setting too many back rows. That's actually kind of cool. You guys let me know how you like this idea, but that's the reason why I think that Maxi will eventually just get banned, even in the OCG, because we can't have like 15 Maxis running around. Then the game just becomes completely unplayable and it's just not even enjoyable anymore. And also the Molchemy cards I also think will have to get banned eventually, but Ryzeal, very boring, very annoying deck. It's basically just the new Snake Eye. People are gonna get fed up of this deck after like 1 week. I can guarantee you that. And it's also very linear. It always does the exact same thing. So yeah, it's not like I can really say, oh, that's super fun, enjoyable. Not really. Fiendsmith Yubel, this deck is gonna die, honestly, as soon as Molchemy Feroz comes out in the TCG. I tested this deck with Feroz around, and I was getting so angry every single time I was getting hit by that card that I just like rage quit. It's honestly that pathetic. You literally cannot make decent half boards under this card. You always have to summon so much, not only from the deck, but also from the extra deck. Your Yubels, when they float, they have to summon from the deck. And then if you want to make at least like a Phantom Yubel pass or like a Caesar pass, that still makes your opponent draw like so many cards. Whereas Perulia, on the other hand, there are some solid end boards that you can make by only giving 1 or maximum 2 draws to your opponent. If you know what you're doing, because if you full combo, obviously you're making your opponent draw like 3 to 4 cards, which is very stupid. Don't do that. Yeah, so Yubel sucks. Malice, okay, this deck just keeps changing all the time. Like sometimes they're playing like a Bestial heavy Malice deck, which is my favorite way of playing the deck. I think it's really good because the Bestials are just so nice at making you push through things. Let's just say you go normal summon Dormouse effect, you get impermed. You go, okay, I don't care, make a Link 1, send this to the grave, and then you go Bestial effect, banish your own monster. What are they gonna do? Bestial banish your monster? Thank you, that's what I wanted to do anyways, so it doesn't hurt you. This deck doesn't lose to Bestials, it doesn't lose to Shifter. As a matter of fact, it can play Shifter. It's just such a nice deck at being able to beat all the small hand traps. The issue is Nibiru. I really do not see how this deck beats Nibiru, especially if you're playing like the super hardcore combo deck. It doesn't really feel too good. That's the reason why it still plays Shifter, because if I Shifter my opponent, I am just making a half board and 4 summons. I don't have to full combo, that would be stupid, and either way, it wouldn't work because you have to get so many cards in the graveyard. So when you Shifter, you're not playing a Cyber's Turbo deck, you're really playing a Malice deck. But yeah, when you got Dormouse and you don't have Shifter and your opponent doesn't have Nibiru, you're ending on a gigantic board. You're ending on Terahertz with Firewall that is not used up because you summoned it again or something. And you're also ending on like a trap and like the ability to like banish a card, I think, with the red ransom or something. Yeah, it's a lot of interruptions off of one card. And you also get the Savworm in the graveyard with the ability to send Aggregator, or the other one. There is like a level 8 Synchro, I forgot the name, but whatever. It's a Cyber Synchro that when it's sent to the grave, you can target a monster on the field, place it in the spell and trap zone. You know, Enigmaster Pack Bit, there you go. Yeah, so yeah, that card's pretty nice. The side deck, yes, even more enjoyable cards to play against. Dimensional Fisher, Ultimate Slayer is nice, and I've predicted that card would be good a long time ago. And this is one of the few decks that I think abuses the shit out of the card, because you can send Aggregator that you're trying to send with your Terahertz anyways, and then bounce back like a Ryzeal Xyz monster, and then you can also use the Aggregator to negate something else. So yeah, it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and it's not once per turn, so if you draw multiple copies of it, it's not too bad, but when you only have 1 Xyz, then it is too bad. And also against fusion decks, you send the Zavworm, and then you do nothing else, you just bounce back a monster, and that's it, so that's kind of shit. A 3 D-Bearer, 1 triple tactic thrust, usually it's the exact other way around, 3 thrust, 1 D-Bearer, and then some other one-ofs. But I guess I can kind of see if your opponent didn't hand trap you, then you still want to hard draw the D-Bear. So honestly, it does make sense. I'm not really against it. Ryzeal, okay, yes, obviously, again, another Ryzeal deck with Iron Thunder Hammer in the side deck. Again, not the kind of card that you see every day. This is kind of like a Solemn Judgment that also reminds me a little bit of Imperm. So when you negate any monster, spell, or trap activated from your opponent, you also destroy every single card in the same column as the card that you just negated. So it can backfire, but it can also be even better. So if you're destroying even more cards in your opponent's columns, that would be nice, but obviously you can destroy your own cards. So you don't really control where your opponent uses cards, unfortunately, unless you're going second. Okay, and by the way, this was the fire rank 4 that I was talking about, that you gotta reveal to search your sword and your node. Okay, Fiendsmith Azamina. This deck is annoying. Fire Recovery is an interesting tech. So this card is a Monster Reborn for a fire monster, but you have to send a fire from, well, any card from the hand to the grave, so that's kind of shit. But in the graveyard, you can banish it and then shuffle back 3 of your fire monsters in your grave and or banished in your deck and then draw 1 card. So it's pretty much like a Dagusto Emerald. But if you're Flamberge or Snake-Eyed Diabellstar, whatever, all those cards, they get banished, then at least you can get them back. So that's nice. You get a better grind game, but it's a random ass unsearchable one of, so I really don't see why this card is here. You might as well just not play it and play 40. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Everything else is pretty clean for the most part, but in the TCG, we are not going to be seeing the Fiendsmith engine that much in the deck. We're really just going to be seeing 1 Engraver and that's it. So the reason why you would want to play cards like Lori and Scarlet, whatever, is to accelerate, I guess, the sequence into either Lacrimosa and the OCG or in the TCG Aerial Eater, so that you can send like a Samsara D Lotus or Memento Goblin, those kinds of cards, and then you can revive them back with Muckraker. So that's really reminiscent to what we could do before, where we would go Beatrice, send Snake-Eye Ash, and then Promethean Princess revive back. That is no longer a possibility, because Beatrice is banned and Lacrimosa is banned. So in other words, the Fiendsmith engine, all it really does in the TCG now is Caesar Pass, pretty much it. Or Dies Irae. Okay, the side deck I don't really care too much, but Sanctum with Scythe, very interesting. Nobody plays that in the OCG for some random reason I don't understand, because it's super broken. Tenpai Dragon with, let me guess, 23 hand traps. Let me count. 3, 6, 8, 11, 14, 17, 20, 23. I'm just such a god. It would have been either 23 or 24 or 26, but obviously I counted the Duster and the Lightning Storms, which are basically more non-engine cards, and this is, I think, a 16 card engine in total. It's always the exact same thing. So you have 6, 7, 9, and then 12, 13, 14, 15. I guess Magna Mode. There you go. Yeah, I'm almost there. What a filthy deck. Alright, Ryzeal, another boring list. Let's skip it. Alright, so now this is the Runic deck that I wanted to cover, because this is kind of interesting. Even though I hate the deck, there are 2 very interesting tech cards here that are being played, and I'm sure that they had to like contribute to like this player's success. So the first one is Tyrant's Tirade. It's a continuous trap card that reads tribute to monsters. Effect monsters that activate in the hand or on the field cannot be activated. So yeah, no Ash, no Ogre, no nothing. So no Ghost Bell either, so they're not going to be really able to like respond to your Runic Fountain and stuff. And also Runic Fountain is just a 1. That's insane when you think about it. You obviously protect this card with your Hugin and stuff like that, because your Hugin, it doesn't activate anyways. It's a continuous effect, which is kind of nasty when you think about it, so it's even better than Scale Drain in that regard. But you gotta tribute 2 monsters to use this card. The Runic deck is still kind of good at summoning 2 monsters, because whenever your opponent activates a card to search whatever, you just chain any Runic card, summon Sleipnir, and then Sleipnir will trigger to summon a token, and then you got 2 monsters, and then you can tribute both of them for Tyrant Tirade, and you pretty much win the game there. And the other really nasty tech card is Land Flipping. It is a normal spell card that reads, target 1 face-up card in a field zone, banish it, then place it face-up in the other field zone, then you can choose 1 field spell with a different original name in the current controller's graveyard, and place it face-up in the field zone of the player whose card was banished. It's very confusing. What you just gotta know is that in the mirror match against like a Runic deck, you banish your opponent's fountain, and then you take that fountain. That's pretty much what it does. It's really unfair because, again, Fountain is at 1, so if you just get rid of it that way, basically just win the game on the spot, it's kind of better than Cosmic Cyclone in that regard, because not only do you make your opponent lose the Runic Fountain, but you also take it back. Well, I mean, you take it, so that even if your opponent Cosmics your Runic Fountain, it's not the end of the world, because you still have your own Runic Fountain. So basically, your opponent Cosmic his own Runic Fountain. Must not be nice. With only 1 Runic Fountain, oh man, this doesn't really feel super enjoyable to play against. Land Flipping, I think, is a card with a lot of potential overall. It could be good in against a lot of decks. I'm probably gonna make a video on this because I think it has a lot of potential. But yeah, against Runic and in Runic, so in the Runic mirror match, anything with Runic cards, this is the best card that I can think of. It's literally Exodia for the deck. Anyways, I don't think there's anything else that's really worth covering here. Maybe like random deck list here and then. But yeah, Ryzeal, everything is like super standard. It's always 2 Desires, 2 Bonfire, really trying to max out on consistency, the exact same 10 monsters every single freaking time, always close to like 40 or 41. Small World, there we go. Like I said, it really gives me some Mathmech vibes, absolutely disgusting. Side deck is always the same. D-Bear, Evenly, Solemn Judgment. Probably the best cards against Ryzeal, because Evenly going second in the mirror match, this card is nasty because they do not make negates. That's the reason why they need Solemn Judgment, and they also need D-Bear for your engine. So yeah, it's always the exact same, and obviously Red Reboot is great going first or second. So they try to evenly you just go Red Reboot, and then you get to live another day. Not too bad. Labrynth, okay, another interesting deck. They are now able to play Dominus Impulse, which is insane in the deck. It's the better Dominus card out of that one and Purge. Dominus Impulse can even negate Branded Fusion, stuff like that. This is absolutely nasty. Another Runic deck, but this time we are not seeing the land flipping card. We are seeing Cosmic Cyclone instead. An Ultimate Slayer out of everything with Entis, Garura, and also Super Poly. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is a Runic stun deck that can almost like kill you. Yeah, they can Super Poly using your monsters. And Sphere Mode, Jesus. Yeah, okay, this guy's not trying to lose going second. Yeah, I think this is pretty much done so. I guess Tenpai Dragon with Gravity Collapse in the side deck. It's not like a super insane tech because it's nothing new. People have been doing this for a while. But yeah, you guys let me know how you feel about the OCG and how we're potentially doomed in the TCG in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.